It was then News Director Jim Thistle and me who hired Susan Wornick away from WHDH Radio 34 years ago. She got the job because she was fresh, tenacious, hardworking, and very, very funny. All those things are still true as Susan Wornick signed off from Channel 5 today for the final time. She warned us all in advance that she would have to write her final remarks down, otherwise she'd lose it.
It's an incredible honor that you have trusted me, and I appreciate it more than you know. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Susan Wornick signed off today after anchoring the Channel 5 midday news for decades. But reporting was her calling. And as the station's consumer reporter, Wornick wasn't worried about upsetting advertisers.
Frustrated Tundra owners.
She was a consumer's best friend.
Buyer beware for a very Merry Christmas.
And she once faced jail time for refusing to give up a source.
I don't want to go to jail. I never have. I still don't.
As anyone who has ever attended a charity event in Boston knows, there is no one in the city more generous with her time than Susan.
Hello, ladies.
But as friends and viewers know, Susan is genuinely funny, off the air and on.
The next musical phenomenon could be singing whales.
I don't sing. Dr. Michael Gillen will also tell us about that. Just flipping ahead here, there doesn't seem to be too much coming up, so this might be a good time to jump in the shower.
Susan Wornick is the most loyal friend a person could hope for. She brought the Channel 5 family together. She's also a devoted daughter to her 99-year-old mother. Oh, and did I forget to mention someone else who loved her?
I was an impressionable young man when I first realized I was in love with Susan. It was 4 years ago, and I was 76. She was this bright, charming, friendly, beautiful woman who only combed her hair badly when she was on camera, which was practically all the time, of course. But she was this great hostess, and she often invited more people over to her house for dinner after the news than had watched the news.
Susan, all the more time for dinner parties. I have so many funny stories. The one time she got in trouble, Phil Balboni was news director. And there was a story about this boa constrictor that was under a house in Florida, and everybody had the video. You know, they were wrestling with this snake trying to get it out, and she's sitting there with Jim Boyd, and they finished the story, and Jim Boyd says, "Wow, that looks like trouble to me." And Susan says, "Looks like shoes in a bag to me." Wow, the phone rings off the hook. You know, the PC animal control people.
About a snake?
Yes, yes. And so Phil Balboni had to reprimand her.
Oh, no.
Really, I tried to find that clip from years ago. I couldn't find it. But this is one of these people you can't say, you know, everybody's, oh, she does so many things for the community. She's such a great friend. In this case, it is all true.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, I don't know Susan Wornick well. I interviewed her once, and it was about something serious. It was about that time that she nearly went to jail for protecting a source. Among all the other things we can say about her, she was really passionate about the role of a free press and her obligation to stand up for her principles.
On a girly note, one of my friends said, "Gee, if you're having trouble finding big earrings, call Susan. She knows where to get them." And she said, "I'll send you some sources." And on top of that, I've happened to be at a couple of occasions when she has been the hostess for charity. And I'm telling you, you don't leave there with anything in your pocket. She is really, really good at hosting those charity events. She's good.
Yeah, a super reporter, especially enamored of her consumer reporting during the era when she was doing that for Channel 5. Very sharp and tough. Super quick story. Okay. At a fundraiser for the Women's Lunch Place, she's the MC. She gets up, a kind of revealing top and big clunky necklace. She fingers the necklace and says, "Aren't they marvelous?" And she says, and the necklace is pretty nice too.
Yeah, of course, her hair was iconic.
Yes.
That word. And I loved her line that a lot of callers would call in and comment on her hair, and so she had on her voicemail, if you called in, it would say, "If you're here if you can tell me a tip, line number 1, punch 1, and so forth." And she said, "If you're going to comment on my hair, punch 3," and people would punch 3. They would be held on hold for a number of minutes, and then it would cut them off.
Remember when that crazy thing with the Aqua Teen hunger force broke here, and people didn't know whether it was bombs being placed around the city? It was those cartoon characters from the cartoon show. Susan had to go live that day. It wasn't like the Boston Marathon bombing or the tall ships or the marathon or something where we have information or at least something's happening. She vamped for maybe 5 hours that day, you know, going straight live until they figured out what this thing was. She was as good as Chet Curtis at the ad lib, you know, making it sound like it was new information over and over again when you're saying the same thing.
Well, see, HSN, she may have a gig there, because that's what you got to do, sell the product, got to say it over and over again. She'd be great.
That's not a bad idea. Pass that on to her.
Get a discount, too, I'm sure.